podcast. Just an intro. Say clap!
Sing clap. Hello and welcome to the ScreenWipe podcast. This is episode 3, on which we're going to be discussing Doctor Who, The Shining, and that recent Venom trailer. I'm Harry. Joining me, as always, is Ben.
Hello, what up? It's your boy!
Now, usually we'd also have Jacob, but he's away on holiday. So, in our very first special guest episode, please welcome Callum.
How's it going, bros? It's
God,
Callum.
This was a mistake.
Callum's the resident meme lord.
We mentioned
man.
him in episode 2, and I
myth.
think that was where when historians document when this podcast failed, this is where it started.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I have a couple of things to clear up from last week. We keep mentioning that this is a weekly podcast. It's not. It's bi-weekly.
We are
I'm
terrible
sorry.
at organising.
Also,
anything.
Ben said Howard the Duck was directed by George Lucas, and it's not.
Is it not?
It's not.
Who directed it?
I'm going to Google it right now. I should have had that ready.
Yeah, you should have. How do you know that it wasn't if you don't know who directed it?
Because I Googled it before, but I
I
don't
could have
remember
sworn
the
it was George Lucas.
name. It's not George Lucas.
Oh.
How
It
would
is.
you know if you don't know who's actually directed
It's
it?
Willard Huyck.
Never heard of him. Did George Lucas have something to do with it?
I've got no idea.
Okay, well,
give
Oh, wait,
George
what?
Lucas
Hang
credit.
on.
because every episode we've mentioned Howard the Duck so far.
Oh, he's
I-
closely associated with George Lucas.
Oh, okay. I'd like to keep that trend going of
Are
us
they gay lovers
mentioning,
or?
mentioning. So before we begin,
All right, thanks, Callum.
how about we ask Callum a couple of questions? Callum, we'd like to know a bit of you, about you, a bit of what makes you you. What's your favourite movie?
My favourite movie is probably Whiplash.
That's a good movie.
good movie.
I haven't seen it.
Incredibly good
What, you
movie.
haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it. It's on
We'll
my
talk
watch
about
list.
it. It's great.
Okay, well, I'll watch it
It's
and then we can
phenomenal.
talk about it. Anything else that you'd like to cover? What about you? Got a favourite director? Favourite actor?
Favourite actor.
I wonder.
I wonder. What?
Callum Hornby.
What?
No, that's not. I don't really have sort of favourite actors as such. I just sort of have favourite sort of movies that I like.
You're above that.
Because an actor should be, a good actor should be diverse enough.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
Ryan
shouldn't really have
Gosling.
favourites.
I like-
Ryan Gosling.
I like
really
David
good
Tennant
actor.
just because he's kind of a heartthrob. Speaking of David Tennant, Doctor Who. Whoa,
Yeah, so-
king of segues. Boom.
So Callum's a huge
was
Doctor
good.
Who fan, so we thought it's not a movie, but it's
Yeah,
it's still the moving image.
it's a
God,
moving
it's good.
image.
So I'd say we're all fans, right?
Yeah, I'm a kind of a Fallen fan. I dropped off.
Callum looks.
I
like
dropped off
devastated.
after Capaldi's first season because I couldn't stand the horrific writing. Callum is a massive fan. He's stuck with it.
I've stuck with it.
He's
if you're,
persevered
if
through
you're
the dark
loyal, you
times.
should be able to
He's a loyal boy,
get
unlike
through
me.
it. So
I mean, I used to love it. I think the David Tennant series are some of the best
yeah.
TV. It's just so creative and so fun.
I
Okay,
never.
some of the best TV in the like not serious vein.
I've always seen Doctor Who as a very goofy show. Like you've got these wacky looking monsters and
Yeah, definitely.
time travel, and it's fun.
But
not-
like,
But it's not that it's
really-
dumb fun. It's like
yeah.
it has some intelligent stuff to say.
it's
and-
quite
times.
diverse though. You get sort of some sort of quite serious,
There are-
quite
there
sort
are-
of scary episodes.
yeah, there are
like Blink.
real
That's a
horror
really good one.
episodes.
Oh yeah,
And-
well, Blink's the big one. I think
Oh, boy.
Doctor Who's really impressive for, despite being so long running. You actually feel a sense of consequence. I think a decent amount.
I would say that's more between series. Like what affects Tennant isn't going to really affect Matt Smith very much.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It
they're
does-
standalone.
Yeah.
but I mean, despite being like, oh, this show's going to go on forever, I feel like
Yeah, it's well because they with the creation of the regeneration like concept into the show, it really allowed them to not only develop the Doctor but have the stake of him being able to die.
Regeneration.
milk it for years.
Yeah.
No,
Regeneration very nearly didn't happen. It was only because William Hartnell,
Yeah.
the first Doctor, got ill.
And he didn't want to do
So,
it.
and they were going to just sort of recast someone as
William
sort
Hartnell's
of as
Doctor.
William Hartnell's Doctor.
Yeah.
So just think, right? I don't think it would definitely not still be going now, because
If
some
they-
people prefer other Doctors to.
Well, that's the kind of the smart thing with the show. The creation of regeneration was such a really intelligent move back then because
Well, I mean, they hadn't
Actors
really
age.
done it before, right?
yeah,
I
nothing.
mean,
I don't.
well,
even
I'm sure something similar, but it sort of made it
Yeah.
more of a saga of a show, like it was split into eras.
Yeah, they split it into eras. Yeah, Doctor Who. It's a neat show.
It is. I was having this discussion with Harry about how sort of different each Doctor is, and especially in the modern series, how each Doctor sort of copes with grief differently. So David Tennant was quite emotional.
Yeah, I
Doctor,
think that's fair.
It
David
was
Tennant.
quite. definitely shaped him quite a lot. Matt Smith, when he lost sort of Amy and
My
Rory,
boy.
he got himself into quite a sort of bit of depression. Do you remember in The Snowman when he was sulky and he was
I
up
think
in the
I think I
cloud?
remember. Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That was.
And
Pretty, yeah.
when 12 lost Clara, he obviously dealt with it quite badly. He got quite sort of angry.
Haven't seen that episode.
Sort of, he was seeking revenge. So I just think it's really interesting how it's all the same character, but you get so many different personalities.
I think like
great.
because that's always kind of been a thing. Like when Patrick Troughton became the second Doctor, he's quite
Kind of like the clown, wasn't
yeah,
he?
he was a bit more comical, and that got a lot
Great
of
Doctor.
critical backlash at first. Everyone was like, "This isn't William Hartnell's wise old grumpy man. This is a clown. This is a goofball." And the same thing has happened with stuff like Tom Baker. Everyone saw him as really cheesy, but then he kind of defined the character, and
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
why
he's so
he is the
beloved
best
now.
Doctor.
You kind of got it in reverse though with Matt Smith to Peter
David.
Capaldi. People moaning that Peter Capaldi was too serious.
Yeah, that's because Matt
You know?
Smith
Yeah.
was pretty goofy. What with like,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
fezzes and bow ties are cool in that.
It's
That
probably
was-
it's probably good to note we're probably going to be spoiling a lot of Doctor Who, but I mean,
like we spoil everything else we ever talk about
but-
on this
but if you-
podcast.
like if you haven't watched it yet, you're probably not that invested in Doctor Who anyway. So probably doesn't
Why are you
matter.
listening?
Do you guys have a favorite Doctor? Well, I mean, what is your favorite Doctor? Should we do?
David Tennant. Mine's Tennant, just for purely nostalgic reasons. But I also think Tennant
Great
alone
Doctor.
is a really talented actor. Like,
I mean, we were talking the other day. Is that this cartoon on Netflix at the minute called Final Space,
Yeah,
where
I
he
haven't
voices the villain and he sounds almost unrecognizable.
I liked him in Jessica
That is awesome.
Jones. I know Harry doesn't like that show very
I
much.
liked him in Jessica
I
Jones.
hated that show.
Why do you hate
I mean,
it?
he was good in it.
I don't know why you'd hate it. It's a good show.
This is a whole other.
Okay, we'll talk about it another time. But yeah, he was really good in that. I feel fine.
Yeah, I mean, he was good. Yeah, no, he was good. He was good with the material he got.
I think like David Tennant though, he's sort of, if you watch sort of some of the stuff he does sort of around the time of Doctor Who, like Casanova, which was right before Doctor Who.
I haven't seen that.
He's sort of, it's a very similar character. It's that sort of heroic, good-looking type character. I don't think that's particularly diverse. But then I watched
seen him
obviously
in-
Jessica Jones, and that was like
He does villains very well.
he does villains really well.
Although
yeah.
then you had stuff like Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, where he's got them licking his lips every 5 seconds.
Oh, I forgot. I always forget
Barty-
he's in that movie.
Barty
Yeah.
Crouch Jr.
That's not a good thing if it's not memorable. In my
I think
opinion.
it's a
I
villain.
don't
His
think.
character's
I-
kind of stupid. The,
I feel
the
like
tell
it's-
that he's like the villain in that film is that he licks his lips.
I
It's
feel
like, you're
like-
like Jesus.
I
Like,
feel like it's a memorable performance because it's really. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's really dumb.
I mean,
It's a
that's
dumb
the
performance.
worst Harry Potter film. But,
Yeah, I'd say 6 was really bad.
oh, I
The
don't.
6th film, it's
yeah.
just so dark you can't see anything.
Talk about Harry Potter some other time. guys,
Yeah,
I like
in
Harry
another-
Potter.
in another
Callum, who's your
podcast.
favorite Doctor? Well,
Probably
I know.
quite an unpopular opinion, but probably Peter Capaldi.
And this isn't
because-
Callum jumping on like the new one because Callum's a proper diehard
Whovian.
fan.
Honestly, yeah.
They call them
I've-
Whovians, don't they?
Yeah, they
Isn't
do.
that
so,
the,
yeah.
the term?
But I think the fact that he was able to shine through such horrendous scripts, and then you could still leave the episode thinking, "Damn, Capaldi is pretty cool."
Yeah, I watched. Ben, stop making so much noise. Sit down.
Sorry.
I watched Flatline last night, which is a season 8 episode, and I think the banter between Capaldi and Clara, I forgot the actor's name.
Jenna Coleman.
Jenna Coleman was good. I don't think it was that bad dialogue wise. I mean, there are some really. Just speaking on that episode, there are some really weird narrative devices.
That's like Doctor
It's like,
Who in
oh,
general.
Clara, look, I've just made this thing that'll fix the problem suddenly. Isn't that convenient to move the episode forward? Or
Yeah, a little bit.
Welcome to Doctor
I mean,
Who.
it was enjoyable. I had
It's
fun.
charm, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I have so much. Oh, I need to go back and watch it all because
Watch Blink. That's a good episode.
I actually, because it's been years since I watched it through. I actually skipped the Weeping Angel episodes because I was scared. This was when I was 13 or
When
something.
I
I haven't seen.
when I was
I
like-
saw Blink when I was very
when
little.
it
Yeah,
first
freaked me
aired,
out. But
when Blink first aired, when I was like 7 years old.
yeah, I watched it when it aired. Yeah,
I was terrified of it.
I didn't. I went off for like a year where I just didn't watch Doctor Who, and then I watched them again, and that was sort of at that time. So I watched it when I was a little bit older, which maybe didn't have the same effect. As
Well,
it
I
might
was
have
like
had
a
for you guys.
7-year-old kid, and like, Jesus Christ,
Exactly,
I
you
couldn't
would have been
look a statue in the
terrified.
eye for the next
It's-
couple of years.
it's the part where they circle the TARDIS, and it's like, oh.
For me, it was the part where she's like, "You're not looking at the statues, neither are you," and they turn around and it's jump scare right
yeah,
there.
that is good.
I'm sure if I watch it now, I'll be like, that was fun.
I've
but,
watched
like,
it. It's a pretty good episode.
But there we go. That was written by Moffat, who did the
I
whole of the Smith era.
Yeah,
and
I
Isn't
think
Carrie
Claudia.
Mulligan in that?
Yes,
I
is.
think-
Yeah, she plays Sally Sparrow.
I think
She's good in Drive.
Moffat
I
does
don't know why she
better
is that.
horror-themed episodes because he also wrote the Silence in the Library episode, the one
Yeah.
where they're in the.
I used to love that
I don't
episode.
think
I have no idea if
Moffat
it's
should
good.
have
Is it
been
good?
Yeah, it's
showrunner.
alright. Pardon? I don't think he's a good showrunner.
Because
no.
Russell
he
T
writes
Davies, baby.
really good sort of standalone episodes, but when he's been given sort of like a
He has,
theme,
he has to like make that
or
overarching
yeah.
plot thing, like the Kraken time.
that
or-
was it was just. Well, they forgot
I
about
don't know.
it. They forgot about it in series 7.
Yeah,
and then
I-
brought it up on in his last episode. Like, oh, the Time Lords. They're trying to give you more regeneration energy.
I
That's
like-
just a plot device to get him out of dying, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I like having the through line of a series, but I feel like was it series 5 Smith's first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really pummel you with that
the
crack in the wall thing.
They're
and
just
just
like,
mention it
exactly.
all. It's like okay,
I
yeah.
think-
And then
I mean,
they forget about it
with,
for
one
2
of
series, and then
my-
it comes.
Just my favorite Doctor is Matt Smith. Speaking.
I don't like Matt Smith. Matt Smith's a good actor. I don't like his version of the Doctor. At all.
I didn't
I
up until
would
sort of
say
recently.
I love his version of the Doctor, but I don't think he's a great actor. I've only seen him in a few other things, but I don't know. I just love him. I'm speaking less about the quality of the episodes,
More of the character.
although I don't think they're bad.
yeah.
Or at least I don't.
Well-
it's been a while, but I just think he's a lovely Doctor.
I like. Okay, I've already said David Tennant's my favorite, but I think the best one is Tom Baker
Oh,
Well, like you
my
said with David
lord.
Tennant, it's
He's
probably partly
incredible.
influenced
by nostalgia, but Tom Baker.
that's a fair enough.
He defined the character for so many years, and even
Definitely.
now today, when a lot of people do think Doctor Who, they think Tom Baker, because he was the Doctor. He would make public appearances to schools and whatnot,
Yeah.
in character, in costume, going,
Capaldi does
"Hey
that as well.
kids, look at me, I'm the Doctor."
Yeah, it's
but he
great.
also made an effort because he knew that all these kids looked up to him, and he made an effort never to be seen drinking or smoking in public. So
I don't think that actors or filmmakers or anything like that necessarily have a responsibility to represent themselves in a way that would appeal to their audience. But
He
I
did.
think it's always nice to see that, and you're like,
yeah,
oh, this guy's sort of going the extra
he didn't
mile.
have the responsibility, but he made the effort to do that.
I haven't seen any classic Doctor Who, but I know you guys have.
You normie,
Yes.
you
I'll
trash
tell you what,
normie.
2 doctors I have a lot of respect for are Peter Davison. Oh, I just hit my head. And
Number 5.
and Matt Smith, only because they came after very, very popular doctors. David
Yeah,
Tennant
they had
and
big
Tom
shoes
Baker.
to fill.
But they did it so well without obviously being.
Maybe not
the
Matt
same.
Smith.
I think
No,
Matt Smith
Matt Smith was great.
Matt Smith.
Yeah, he
quite different.
new interpretations of the character. He's
Yeah,
lovely. He's warm.
I liked his
Much more alien than
his
David
first-
Tennant.
it's great.
which
It
is what I
was
liked.
his
it
first
was a
moment-
slightly different spin on it, and it worked really well.
his first moment with all the food stuff. I felt I will give him the credit that was performed and like written very comically, rather funny. Like really, look at me, I'm goofy.
So why don't you like Matt Smith?
I just.
Just
it
a
might-
genuine
it
question,
Kind of
I'm not
might be that
challenging you.
not honeymoon effect, but it kind of might be that thing of they killed David Tennant off for this, or it was either that or I just.
I guess
I can't stand I couldn't stand Amy Pond. I found her to be incredibly unlikable.
I think she stayed around a bit too long,
Yeah,
but I really
definitely.
like
Rory was
I liked
alright.
it. Yeah, I liked Amy and Rory.
But one of my favourite Matt Smith's episodes is the episode where they die. So,
That's actually a really, really well written episode as
with
well.
the- I like.
Angels
good
and
send-off.
Angels Take Manhattan.
Yes.
Right?
I just like it because they die. That's really it. I'm a sick bastard.
and talking about series having a through line, like was it series 6 with the silence, or not the whole episode?
I like
whole
the
series,
design of the
but when they're like,
silence.
That was
oh,
quite
the silence
confusing.
have been here influencing
Silence is
every
coming.
decision.
Silence
It's
is
like,
coming
oh,
or something
okay.
like that.
But
Oh
yeah,
my lord!
I think
that series was a mess.
as a kid, I watched Doctor Who. I watched the David Tennant era, but not avidly. I really jumped on with Matt Smith, so that probably influences. I since went back and watched all the David Tennant stuff and totally fell in love with this sort of
With
portrayal
good
of the
old
character.
Alonzi.
Yeah, he's just,
That's a
I
meme,
love
right?
the Doctor
It's-
Harry
it's
catchphrase.
just-
bring that back.
it's just fun, creative, goofy sci-fi, and it's
I think season 3.
Blast to watch.
The kind of the through line of season 3 with David Tennant, the "You Are Not Alone" thing, and at the end how
The
it's spelled
Yana,
Yana. I
yeah.
thought that was a good plot twist. I liked how that was
Yeah.
like, oh, it all makes sense.
Yeah, and the fact it was all the Master was
Yeah,
like
the Master.
whoa.
I like what's his name? What's the actor's name again?
the first one,
Not
first
the old
Master.
dude. The Master.
Oh, John Sim.
John Sim.
Yeah, the other one's
I liked
Derek
his.
Jacobi.
He was a bit goofy, but he was really. He could do the villain thing. He was very comical comic book like villain. He was big.
Didn't they
He's
bring
very-
him back recently?
He's very good in series 10 when he was brought back for the finale. Like, it was really, really well
Yeah,
written.
just to give you context, Callum's seen everything.
I've seen some stuff.
Me and Ben haven't seen. I've seen half of
Pretty sure
series
we've already
9.
explained this.
Have we?
Yeah.
Not specifically.
Well, I said
We
I
haven't
dropped
seen
off
season
after
10.
Capaldi's first season.
Okay, well, we haven't seen season 10.
How much can I spoil?
Oh, you can spoil
I just want
as
to tell you
much
how
as you
cool
want.
it is. So, the Master, he does this sort of classic series Master thing of being in disguise, and he sort of makes friends with Bill. And then
That's the African the African woman.
the
black
newest
woman.
companion. She's not African.
I was gonna say African American, but I was like,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
she's
I know what you
British,
mean.
African,
Just
British.
But
just British.
he
Yeah.
takes her to this room and converts her into a Cyberman, basically, which is well, he doesn't personally, but
Well,
he
didn't they
takes
do
her
that to
there.
Danny in season 8?
Who's Danny?
This is a little bit different though.
It's
'Cause this is
Clara's
this is
boyf.
like this is like
Boyf.
they're like the original Cybermen. So Bill was like the first Cyberman.
Oh, those are.
Oh, so they go back.
Didn't they bring
Yeah.
back
like retcon?
The sort of
they-
Mondasian
They
Cybermen.
had David Bradley. That's his name, right? As the first Doctor.
Oh my
Oh,
lord!
I
yeah.
love
Oh,
David Bradley.
Actually, that's a side
That
point. Have
was
you guys
really
seen An
cool.
Adventure in Space and Time?
Which one's that?
It's a like a dramatization of the.
Original.
I guess it's a biopic.
Of
I
the
suppose.
Yeah, it is a
Yeah,
No,
biopic.
of,
actually-
of the first Doctor.
No, I
starting.
haven't. I've been recommended by this
It's
guy so
incredible.
many times.
I told
It's-
Harry
it's-
to
it's-
watch it.
it's
and
good.
It's just quite
I enjoyed it.
heartwarming.
I do
isn't
think
it?
that casting David Bradley as William Hartnell as the Doctor.
Good
thing.
casting choice.
But then he actually played the Doctor in Twice Upon a Time.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa,
Is that the episode?
this guy,
I like
yeah,
David Bradley.
because they
was
obviously
in
he got
he
they
was
got
in
him to
Harry
play William
Potter. He
Hartnell,
was-
didn't they?
Filch, the caretaker in Harry Potter.
Oh my god.
And he's a character
the
in
pussy.
Game of Thrones. And I like Game of Thrones, and I want to talk about Game of Thrones
Yeah,
someday.
we watched the first episode.
Yeah, we did. It was good. Let's get back to the real show, Doctor Who.
I just love it. Like, I just don't like I said earlier. I just don't think Moffat. It's almost like Series 5 is definitely his best series because that's where he has all these sort of fresh, sort of new ideas. But it's almost like he ran out of ideas after that. So Series 6, in my opinion, is very sort of confusing and quite hard to follow.
Convoluted.
Yeah, it's massively convoluted. And
That's astronaut in the lake.
yeah,
Stuff
and
like
that
that.
Wasn't
whole
that like
storyline.
River Song?
I didn't.
And then
That
he
was also the
ended up,
series
he
with Let's
also,
Kill Hitler.
he-
so.
Oh, let's talk about Let's Kill Hitler.
I remember enjoying.
That's a good
Series
episode.
6 as a whole, but it's been a while.
Now let's talk about the best episode, Let's Kill Hitler.
Let's Kill Hitler.
It's
The
actually-
cinematic
What a bizarre- They have a
masterpiece.
hologram of Donna, don't they?
Do they?
Yeah,
Rose
pops
and-
up
and
in the-
Martha.
for some reason.
I didn't. Oh, I should have rewatched Let's Kill Hitler.
So basically,
for
the
this.
Doctor's like dying apparently, which is weird because it's in the middle of the series, and obviously he's not going to die, is he?
Oh no,
Oh,
I
yeah, I
remember them
remember him-
chasing down the friend. What was her name? The friend who regenerates into River. They were chasing her.
Oh, Wait,
Melanie,
Mel's.
Mel, or whatever her
Yeah.
name was. And they were chasing her, and then she, at one point, I think she pulls out a gun and she says, "We got a time machine. Hell, let's kill Hitler." And then they did the opening credits.
Oh my god! Oh, that's when they.
Corniest
I remember
line
it now.
And
yeah.
then
in the world.
Rory punches Hitler in the face
And puts him in a cupboard.
puts him in a closet. There you go.
And then like there was no lock on that cupboard. Hitler could have just opened up the door and walked out
That-
and
I
shot
think-
Rory
Get back
and
to
then
work.
This might be giving
What?
the writers too much credit, but during the Hitler, he tried to take Germany by force prior to being arrested, and he ended up locking a bunch of dudes in a cupboard in Munich.
It's ironic,
and he was
isn't it?
Yeah, he was gonna take over Munich. He was gonna invade Munich with his own little private army, and he locked some dudes in the cupboard. But overnight, they escaped through the cupboard. I don't know. That might be like a homage or a kind of like little Easter eggy thing to that event.
Or they just
maybe
thought,
Or
Hitler
they would
did the
just-
same thing.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory.
or maybe
We
they
can
thought,
talk about
oh,
conspiracy theories when we
or
get
maybe-
to The Shining.
Maybe
That'll
they,
be...
maybe they just thought, oh, it'd be funny if we have Rory put Hitler in a cupboard.
It's just dumb because Rory's like this goofy character, and he's goofy for like the whole episode up until this point, and
Until
then
he just
suddenly he
Socks
punches
Hitler in the
Hitler,
That's Captain America's
threatens
job.
to shoot him with a gun, and then puts him in a cupboard.
And then there are little people inside a robot.
To be honest,
So
that's
why
actually
does-
a good idea. It just wasn't very well executed.
So why does the Doctor let them?
Go and
Go
kill
and try
Hitler.
to
Because
kill
she's
Hitler.
got a gun.
But that's going to alter.
She's gonna shoot him.
Yeah, she's gonna shoot him, and then she shoots the TARDIS, and the TARDIS goes out of control when like comes through Hitler's office's window, and like
Yeah.
That's what the TARDIS out of control sounds like. It's like sounds like a slut.
it does.
I like Matt Smith.
I don't.
he had some shit scripts as well. But then people are like, because I feel like
I love it
in the
how-
most recent series, because sort of the people that sort of just tune in occasionally,
casually.
they see these bad episodes and they're like, oh, it's obviously Peter Capaldi, isn't it?
No,
And
it's
they
not the
label it
actors,
as
it's
like
the writing. The
Capaldi,
writing is
yeah.
garbage. It's not the actors.
Well, I mean, a lot of these. Oh, I'm gonna bring in like the shallow fangirl thing. I feel like Capaldi's era sort of weeded out some
because
of the fake
Capaldi
fans.
wasn't hot.
Well, exactly. But
Yeah.
I kind of think he is.
Well, no, what? You think?
Gorgeous man.
Oh, how old is he? Like he's in his 70s, 60s.
He was 60, yeah.
Yeah,
He's-
you
he's
think a
60.
60-year-old man is attractive? Okay, I mean, to each his own. Whatever
He's a dark horse.
whatever does you. Oh no. But I find like with every regeneration cycle, with every single one, everyone's like, "Oh, I'm leaving the show. This doctor replaced this one. It's garbage." Like when
Yeah, like
I-
you were saying with Matt Smith, like your gut reaction to David Tennant.
I had that kind of fangirly
Also-
reaction where I had an instant hate towards Matt Smith,
and you can say
I do agree it's
doesn't influence-
immature.
it probably
It
does.
is immature, and for me in particular, when I was like, "Oh, I don't like Matt Smith as much," like he's a good actor. He did the Doctor well. I just couldn't get past his writing. I just. Bleh.
That's another thing, right? With Matt Smith, when he was first announced, that was probably the most backlash there ever was because
then
he was the
really?
youngest actor
To ever
I don't remember
to
that
ever
being.
play the
He was, like,
Doctor.
21
This-
at the
it
time,
was
wasn't
like announced in like sort of 2009,
Right.
so it was a while ago.
Hmm.
But yeah,
I remember
he
getting a
looked-
newspaper and reading it.
I saw
actually.
the first ever promotional image for his Doctor.
He was standing in like a. He had a TARDIS in the background. He was standing in like all black, wasn't he?
He
remember
looks
this?
like an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
He looks just. He
What
looks
about-
too young.
when-
David Tennant did so well for the show and so beloved. I mean, like,
he really
Yeah.
because Christopher Eccleston, because the goal of Eccleston was to bring back the show, and it did do that. But Tennant was the one who really was like,
Carried it on.
yeah, he was the one who was like, Eccleston literally brought it back, but David Tennant brought it back in the sense that he was like, Doctor Who, everyone, yeah, let's get this
I'm
thing.
hoping Jodie Whittaker sort of brings it back.
I think she's all right. I haven't seen her in much. What else? She was in Broadchurch with Tennant, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's the only thing I've seen her in, and she's just
Is she
playing
good
sort
in
of she's playing a crying mother, so it's a bit hard to
Does she
sort
do
of
it well?
just the crying well, but that's all she really does.
I saw her in.
Yeah, it'd be weird to see a crying doctor.
I've heard she's good, so
I saw her in an episode of Black Mirror.
I have not seen Black Mirror. I should do that.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
She's cheating on
which,
her
yeah, and
husband or
and she was very good in that. I saw her in Attack the Block, which is an action comedy from 2009 or 2011. I can't remember. And she's pretty good in that. And I watched that. What was that thing on the BBC? Was it BBC recently where she was that nurse?
Trust Me.
Yeah.
And then she was a nurse, but then she
Wasn't, she was
stole
faking it,
like
right?
her friend's like documents or something,
Oh.
and then pretended to be a doctor. And then she would get herself into sort of a bit of a mess
of a
because she would
shenanigan.
find herself in situations where she didn't know what to do because she obviously wasn't a doctor.
Yeah, I watched the first.
She
couple
is
of
now.
episodes. I think I watched
Hey.
two episodes of it, and she was very good in that. So I think she's a good actress. I don't know how
It looked
she'll
like
handle
a
the
J.J.
Doctor.
Abrams sort of film.
There
The
was-
amount of lens flares in a
Yeah.
hospital,
Which is
oh
fine.
my lord!
You know,
Ooh,
I didn't think it looked very good, but there we go.
I like.
JJ.
I haven't seen her
Jesus,
in like, almost anything. I probably have, but I just didn't know it was her at the time.
Yeah.
Definitely
Watch.
Trust Me.
I think you'd love Black Mirror as a show. So.
Yeah, it's on my. I've got such a large watch
Well,
list.
I mean, it's an anthology series, so each episode
I can just-
truly standalone.
Isn't
so-
Tessa Thompson in that? That's her name, right? The
Possibly,
one
I-
she was
my
Valkyrie in
mum
Thor
in that?
Ragnarok.
Yeah, I don't know.
I heard she was in that. Oh no! It wasn't. It was the girl who played Black Panther's sister.
Oh, is it
that
Lupita
is
Nyong'o?
it
Lupu-
Wait, is that
yeah,
Shuri or
Lupita.
something?
Yeah,
The character.
she was in Black Mirror or something. Oh, sorry. No.
Do you
Sorry.
want?
Valkyrie was in Westworld.
No, Valkyrie was Thor Ragnarok.
No. The actress for Valkyrie,
Right,
Tessa
okay.
Thompson, was in Westworld. So I needed to.
Do you want to talk on Capaldi, Callum? A little bit.
You got anything else to say on Capaldi?
Yeah.
Because we have talked.
Heaven sent.
Because-
That's all I'm saying.
We haven't
Go and
really-
watch it.
We haven't really. Yeah, I watched half of that this morning, and the monster in that is awesome.
I know. It's like
I like the Daleks.
great.
They're my
It's a really
favorite
good
monster.
episode. The second
was
highest
cool.
rated episode of Doctor Who ever.
What's the
apart,
highest?
apart from the multicolored
Is
Daleks.
Blink the highest episode?
Blink's the highest. and-
Hell
and
yeah,
Heaven
because
Sent.
it's the best.
But like, oh, you didn't get to the best bit, Harry, towards the end when the Doctor's.
I know.
having
I was
to-
just watching it out of series, so I sort of
Yeah.
wanted to. Do you guys like the
Doctors had to.
multicolored Daleks?
Oh my lord!
Stupidest idea ever.
Jesus
They're the
Christ.
least. They've made these already not that intimidating because they've done well making these stupid things kind of intimidating, the Daleks, and also kind of sympathetic. And then they
They just
Rainbow
make them.
Daleks!
They look like a goddamn packet of Skittles.
In an interview, Moffat was sort of asked, like, what was your biggest mistake? And,
Really?
He said the multicolored Daleks.
Well, yeah,
I
they
think-
went back and fixed it. They brought back the
Yeah, they
original
retconned it.
Tennant,
But then if you
Davis design.
then if you look in Asylum of the Daleks,
Oh,
if you look
God.
at the back, they have the red Daleks, but they've made them darker.
just to
So you could tell-
blend into the background.
I think they can reinvent the Daleks. I think it's quite cool. I don't think making them like red, blue, and
Yeah,
I
just
think-
changing the color and making them slightly bigger doesn't really.
I think they were trying to make them look more sort of sleek and modernistic.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, the design was
But
a lot
they
different.
look
They were
really
really
dumb.
tall as well.
Have you
Yeah,
have you
actually,
seen
and what?
because the Daleks were first introduced in the classic series, and then between that and the episode Genesis of the Daleks, which is one of the best Tom Baker episodes, the first appearance of Davros,
Dad.
Daleks were kind of considered a bit of a. They kind of became a joke. Like there's a part where a Dalek is fighting a bunch of cavemen, and they're just hitting him with a stick, and then he blows up.
Yeah.
It's. I suggest you look up the clip because it's hilarious. But yeah, Genesis of the Daleks was giving them an origin story and having them a creator. It was done in an effort to make them seem more threatening, and I feel like they did that because Davros is really cool.
Was it series 9? I'm asking Cal. Was it series 9 where they had Davros in like the first
8.
episode to like kick off the series?
8.
Yeah.
No,
he was
it's
in
9.
Was it
series
9?
in the
Second.
first episode.
Oh,
It was,
okay.
and it
So
was,
no,
it
no,
was
no.
the stupidest thing ever.
So
But,
I
like, they
thi-
have these
yeah.
2 parts to kick it off, and it feels like the end of a series.
Yeah,
Moffat mentioned that in an interview. He said that it was apparently intentional to make the opening feel like a finale, sort of have the
But
make it feel as grand as a
But that's such a weird
finale.
way
It
to.
is a bit weird, isn't it?
I don't know.
Also, I can't get past the
I wasn't
visual
into
of
it.
Davros with no legs on the ground writhing.
Oh yeah, and the doctor's in his, in his
that is-
wheelchair.
Is he
That's
dead
not-
now?
Davros,
Davros,
yeah,
the big-
he dies all the time. The character.
Oh, I see.
Oh, he'll be back.
In his first
He'll be back in like 3
in
series.
his first appearance, he was killed by the Daleks. They
Right.
ended up.
And do you
murdering
remember? Was it Journey's End where
Oh,
where he supposedly was like burning, and it was like you did this to me. Doctor. named
I
you
love those.
Destroyer
I
of
love that
Worlds."
two-parter, the Stolen Planet, and I think it's Jenny.
Oh, it just tied everything up, like all of the spin-offs.
No, just on a purely like that episode is so fan servicey. They bring
Yeah.
back all of the companions and they
Torchwood,
make it the
Sarah Jane,
highest
the whole lot.
possible stakes by having the reality bomb. But it's like on a nostalgic, really kid level. I love it.
I think as well.
Also, Donna, it was the best companion. Fight me.
Oh,
Yeah, but she wasn't.
when he
though,
has
was
to
she?
when he
Tennant-
has to
Tennant-
like wipe her
and
Rose,
memory.
Rose is
Tennant-
the best.
Rose sucked.
I know I'm a
Rose
normie, but
was. I
awful.
hated Rose.
Okay,
what?
Rose during Equiston. Rose and Equiston, that was good.
It was a friendship. It wasn't.
Yeah,
like,
but then when she started
cheesy-
going, "Oh, I want to bang David Tennant," which I don't blame her. That's when it got bad.
the Doctor's like a 900-year-old.
Yeah, he's a 900-year-old alien,
and she's
man.
wanting
Although,
to.
be
fuck
fair,
him.
she never got as far as Amy did. Amy was like,
Oh,
they
when she
started
came
making-
on, when she came on
yeah,
to
the
11,
night before
in,
her
like-
wedding, Amy sucks.
she like pinned him up against the TARDIS and started taking his braces off.
And I wanted
trying
to
make
talk
out.
about like you were saying when Capaldi came out, it really weeded out the people who were just watching it because the actors were hot.
It definitely
And
did.
it's
I
a
wanna,
shame.
I wanna
I
have
think-
sex
I-
with Tom Baker.
I don't think
That's
they
not
ever
right.
did the Rose and Doctor dynamic. I almost found it kind of an interesting thing to have this alien who's who's in this really sort of attractive skin. I found that sort of. I don't think they beat you over the head with it.
It's kind of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
I don't know. It's been years since I've seen the series, and I'll probably go back and watch and say, yeah, that could have been cut out. But I don't know. I feel like some credit is deserved for them not overdoing it. And Amy pinning up 11 is not super into that.
One thing I really liked was how you could definitely see Clara was falling in love with the 11th
She never
Doctor.
got there. She never got to
She
the
never
point
got
of pinning
there.
him up to
Yeah,
a
but
wall.
the second-
that was like the Clara stuff went on so long.
But then
I
the
was
second
like,
I feel
the
like-
Doctor
okay.
changed, she was really shallow.
I have
and
a
then,
soft
yeah, well, but
I have a soft
I guess
spot.
that's the intention, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's switching over to an older Doctor.
And then
They
there
were
was
kinda
a
trying to-
whole. Then there was like a speech about how the Doctor sort of had that young body as sort of like a veil to hide what he actually was, and how he lifted that veil, and now she's.
I have a
Yeah.
soft spot for Clara just because I find the actress incredibly attractive.
Right, we're going to move on.
Yeah. No. I
No,
don't
I'm
want to
joking.
degrade women or anything. I just can appreciate her good looks. That's all.
All right, Ben.
No,
She's
I
got
was
really
making talking
big boobs.
points. I was writing down talking
Jesus
points,
Christ.
earlier for the Doctor Who part, and I think Doctor Who is one of the most like subjective shows ever. Like you talk to
Yeah.
anyone, and it's always like oh no, this is my favorite part of Doctor Who, or I love this Doctor most, and it's. I feel like so many people have such a personal connection with it. It's like everyone you speak to has a different kind of set of favorites.
I think every Doctor's great.
Not what was his name? The guy after Peter Davison.
Colin Baker.
Yeah,
he
Colin.
strangled one of his companions
To death.
No, not to death. Like
Colin
he was,
Baker.
like,
no, I
like,
think
he was a bitch.
I
Like
think
straight
as an
up
actor,
murder.
Colin Baker wasn't good.
I didn't think he was good at all.
Yeah,
no.
he's the only like.
He was so
he's the
arrogant.
only
I remember
bad Doctor.
after the regeneration, his first lines were "Changed, my dear," and it seemed at a moment too soon. And it's like he was just cocky
I like
and
Sylvester
arrogant
McCoy.
and
He
strangled his.
reminded me of
That
Mr.
was not the
Bean.
Doctor. Yeah, Sylvester McCoy was.
I love
love
Mr.
that
Bean,
guy.
and so yeah,
Yeah.
Sylvester McCoy is
Paul
quite
McGann.
goofy.
We'll have to watch Mr. Bean. You've got them all.
Oh yeah, I do have. I've got all the Mr. Beans on DVD.
When are you doing a Mr. Bean podcast?
I'll do that in my Mr. Bean impression.
Would you guys like to hear that? Comment below if you do.
all three of you.
Yes, hi mum. Oh look, it's Ben doing that same joke
Yeah,
that he's been doing for the.
Does your mum listen to these?
I don't know.
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice.
Anyone got
Shout out
any...
to my mother. Oh, I've got some shout outs. Shout out to my boy Luke and Zach. I think that's it.
Our
yeah.
boys?
Susie,
Our boys.
Susie wanted to shout out.
She doesn't get one.
Well, she sort of has now.
No!
Shout out to Electric Milk.
Yeah.
Okay. Has anyone got any closing thoughts on Doctor Who before we sort of move on?
I think it's
Tom Baker was the best Doctor.
I just think it's a lovely.
The Sarah Jane
creative-
Adventures is the greatest spin-off known to man since Better Call Saul. And
I just think it's lovely,
I couldn't think of a third thing to
lovely,
say.
fun, goofy sci-fi, and I love Matt Smith, and that's.
I think it's slowly gone downhill with the writing, but like with everything, it
Yeah.
reinvents itself.
They should
I don't know what it's going to
They
be
should
like
bring
next.
back John Barrowman as Captain Jack. They
I
should
don't
bring back
think.
him.
I don't
He
think,
was the best
especially
character.
especially recently, they don't really know how to. Or it seems, not that they don't know how to. They haven't really been balancing fun with darkness very well. Especially what I sort of see series 9 was like. It can't decide if it wants to be
Edgy,
like
gritty.
like light horror.
It can't tell
or
if it wants to be Teen Titans Go or Titans, pretty much.
I mean, yeah.
We'll talk about that
Yeah,
later. That would be a fun thing to talk about.
But yeah,
Titans trailer,
Fuck Batman.
doesn't it? Yeah.
Do you want to talk about Class? Very briefly.
Class.
That was their
Callum.
attempt of another spin-off.
Wait, did they?
Yeah, have you not seen that? It's
No,
set
I
at
didn't-
Coal
I've-
Hill School.
Oh, is it about Clara Oswald's school?
Yes, but Clara's not in it. Like no characters.
Why would
in
you
it.
make
It's entirely
that?
new characters. The
So
whole
is-
thing was spin-offs.
I think it
they're-
had promise, like a little alien show, like set in a school. It could have been cool.
But like the
Like
whole
kind of an
thing with
ET vibe.
spin-offs that work.
Maybe
The
not
reason
Spielberg,
spin-offs
yeah.
work, right, is because they're existing characters, like who have already
Sarah
been
Jane,
somewhat developed. Yeah,
Torchwood,
Sarah Jane, Captain
that's
Jack in Torchwood.
it.
Doesn't the Doctor show up like halfway through the series and fix everything?
That was stupid.
In
Right, it was
Sarah
the first
Jane
episode.
Adventures?
It was the first
No, Class.
episode.
Oh,
So
Well-
First,
the first episode, they're trying to defeat this like monster called like the Shadowkin or
And
something,
the-
and like hide in shadows or something.
Are all
It's
the
really
actors
mysterious.
kids? Are like the main characters kids?
No, they're like sort of 18, 19-year-olds, so like sort of sixth form.
Okay,
students.
so like, yeah.
But it's
RA
just really
roughly.
stupid because they're trying to deal with this monster, and then they're all standing there dramatically, and then the main character goes, "Well, there's only one good way to die," and then she's getting ready to fight, and then
the Doctor
suddenly the
shows
Doctor
up.
comes in, his iconic music in the background. He's
Doctor
like,
Ex
dying
Machina.
well? Who wants to die well?
I think we should end this
Oh.
conversation by talking about the upcoming series and all the changes to personnel that they've made.
Ooh.
So we've already spoken about Jodie Whittaker. I think the most exciting is the change of composer. You have
Well,
the classic.
that
so you
is
have-
scares me a little bit.
That's you. Really, that you're excited over a change of music when there's clearly a much bigger change.
I don't think there is.
No,
did you see that
I'm
leaked? Did you see that leaked clip with the Jodie
No.
Whittaker? It's just like it's like more Doctor Who. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
I just think Murray Gold doing it all the time, and his stuff's really cool. But I think having a new. I'm a music guy. I like a bit.
You are a music guy.
I kind of
as
liked
prevalent
it
by
because
last
they
episode.
obviously they've reinvented the show with different doctors, but I kind of like that sort of consistency of still having the same composer
Oh, for
and
sure. I
similar
mean,
pieces
Just
of
as long
music.
as they bring back John Barrowman as Captain Jack, I will be happy.
The show needs a new
they should do that.
breath of life. It needs to be a little
They
bit.
should get John
reinvented, I
Barrowman
think.
as the Doctor.
But everything's different. There's not a single
Yeah.
thing that's the same as
Which
from
is
2005. which
exciting, right?
I mean,
it scares me a little
what
bit
if they
because we don't know.
regenerated the Doctor as a kid? What if they got like a kid actor to play
Ben.
the next Doctor?
I hate you for even suggesting that.
Asa Butterfield. Is the
Yeah, or
Doctor.
Millie Bobby
Oh,
Brown.
no.
Millie Bobby Brown should be the next Doctor.
Molly Jeeves. Doctor Who.
Oh god. Actually, I think Charles Dance. He's not a kid, but he would make a great Doctor.
Oh my god.
He's in He's in the
Oh.
new Godzilla movie. He's Game of Thrones. He's
Well, they've
so
already
good.
done the old Doctor, but that would
Yeah, but he like
dope.
they go back to the old Doctor.
Dope.
Do Charles Dance. He's so good. He's
That would be really cool.
menacing and big, and he's really.
Did you
like,
see? That doesn't matter actually.
Long live the
I'm
king.
looking forward to the new series. I'll definitely watch it. I want to
I
see.
probably
I wanna see
won't.
what-
I'll just ask Callum how it is, and if he says it's good, I might watch an episode.
I just think, you know, I'm just excited to see what will be new. I mean, it'll be fundamentally the same show, I guess. But
You just want to see what they spice up. What they.
For
Fans,
sure,
fans
yeah.
are quite nervous.
and I'm excited
from
for
what I've
Jodie
heard.
Whittaker. I don't know why people say, "Oh, it's a
Well,
female
I mean-
Doctor."
Because
It
like,
might-
there's
it
not
might
a
just
single.
It might just be for the fact that she's female, but they also have a new head writer, Chris Chibnall.
Chibnall.
I've
Yeah.
also
Broadchurch.
heard there's not a single monster that has already been done.
Wait, so the entire
series.
series is going to be new, unique monsters?
Everything's new.
That's an interesting.
Oh, I thought you meant there wasn't going to be a monster in any episode.
No,
Oh,
I mean
that would've been a
it's
bit-
just brand new monsters.
That's
There's
awesome.
not like a monster.
That's what
that's been
I
done.
kind of.
I mean, I love it when they bring back the Zygons and the Suntarans and the Slitheen,
yeah.
but like, just spice things up, add some new
No,
kids.
I like one of my favorite parts of Doctor Who is the monsters, like the cool monsters, like
When they
like,
when
like
they
the
added
veil that we were
when
talking
they added
about. It's
Weeping
creepy,
Angels,
isn't it?
that was
Cool.
Weeping Angels has since become like a class Doctor Who villain, but they're very recent. They have no connection to the classic
modern.
series whatsoever.
Um,
They're all modern
right.
boys.
Well, any closing thoughts?
I'm
Tom Baker.
nervous about the
Had a
new
good
series
hatch.
only because we don't know what direction it's going to go in at all. It could be a massive flop. It could be the biggest success yet. But I don't know.
But the
we
show's
just got
going to live on. I mean, it does so
It's
well.
it's
so-
it's a show that lives off living on.
yeah.
Well, Doctor Who. Once again, this might be just like a rumored thing, but I think they were pretty certain that it could have stopped after David Tennant. So imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'd be bizarre. All right, so
Let's move on
I think we're going to move on now.
to the
Let's do it.
to.
Talk about The Shining. So before
I
Ben,
think we should clarify. The Shining is my favorite film ever. I love it more than anything else in this world.
I'm happy.
It's so good. I have never. There's never been another film that has given me the same feeling as The Shining, and I can tell you why in a bit. Let's hear what Harry has to say because he wanted to say something. Bada boom, bada
I was just
bing.
going to ask Callum what he thought. Cause,
Oh, okay,
Because
so-
as someone, Callum, it's probably not the sort of thing you'd usually watch. Maybe.
Probably not. I quite like quite light-hearted films.
Yeah,
but then
The
again,
Shining is anything
after
but
watching
light-hearted.
Whiplash, which is quite a dark film in my
Yeah,
opinion,
maybe that was the
that's-
wrong thing to say. Actually,
That's probably it's ended up being my favourite. So I feel like on the basis, yeah, I watch movies because they look fun. But it was a really interesting film.
It is. It's so unique.
It's not very clear in my head at the moment because it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, you were
I
saying.
had the biggest headache afterwards, and it's a little dry in places, but it's so
Ooh, I got beef with you now.
it's so like
I think it's a little.
It's a mind fuck.
the music. It was incredible. It really
Yeah, the score.
John
built
Williams
tension
was
really
originally
well.
supposed to make the score, but they cut him because Kubrick was like, "Nah, he's too whimsical and lovely."
Well, I was watching this movie with I watched a bit of it with Susie at the beginning.
Did you really?
She was saying I don't really want a scary movie, and I was like,
Oh,
I'm pretty certain it won't be scary because it's an old movie. But damn, the second like the blood started coming out the elevator and those like twin girls,
The
like,
Grady twins.
oh my lord,
I'd say it's more
So scared.
to me at least. I'd say it's more sort of chilling than scary.
I think
While
it
we're
was
on the topic
really scary.
of
like,
the type
jumpy.
of fear that you get from the Shining. It's not your traditional horror movie. It's so unique in the way that it scares you, as in it doesn't directly up front just boo.
no, it
look
fucks
at
with
me.
you, man.
Yeah,
It's deep. It's really
it gets
deep.
under your skin, and it really stays there and resonates. And when I thinking about The Shining gives me a bit of a chill, like thinking about the very long, creepy hallway shots, the blowjob bear, as Harry and I like to call
I was just
Oh.
going to say I watched it with Ben. And
Yeah,
then
we
slept, and
watched
then
it.
slept round his afterwards, and it was about 1 a.m. and I was saying, Ben, I can't stop thinking about the blowjob bear.
Yeah.
It was
quite
just so
hot.
out of nowhere and like, oh
Some
god, that's
furry stuff.
weird. But
When we let's stay with the bear. Stay with the blowjob bear. I was. If you've watched the Stephen King miniseries, which isn't good, it's based more on the novel. It's,
from 1997.
yes. You can tell which one is better just by looking at the bear, or in the miniseries case, the wolf, because in the book it was a wolf mask. Because he shows up in the miniseries, he just kind of jumps around a corner and yells at Danny. He's like, look at me, I'm gonna eat you up.
I'm a bear.
But then with the Kubrick one, he just stares at Wendy, and it's really about the fear and ambiguity. You know how like masks can scare people? How they hide someone's true intentions?
Sure.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's a friend or a foe, if it's a threat or not. That's really how the entirety of The Shining works. Because the ghosts never directly, with the exception of Danny getting strangled and Jack the door opening in the pantry, the ghosts never directly do anything. They're just kind of there. And that can add to the question on whether or not the hotel's haunted, or if everyone's just going collectively insane.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about this. First of all, I thought the movie was awesome.
Very good.
I really liked it. But it never. Why I think it's so good is that it just doesn't answer anything. I think Roger Ebert said it best when he said, like, there is no way within the film to be sure with any confidence exactly what happens or precisely how or really why. But that's to the film's credit. You don't know if Jack was plotting to kill his family anyway, or if something snapped, or if it was the hotel, or if he's reincarnated. There's no like part where Scatman Crothers like turns up and then explains everything that's happening.
It never reveals its whole
hotel,
hand.
just sort of fucking with.
Well, that's the absorption theory.
I
if
like-
you want to talk
for
on
me,
that. But
Could go deeper than that.
With me, I think I like the idea of them all just going crazy more than it's a haunted house. I don't know why I prefer the less supernatural version, but I kind of like the idea of Jack going crazy and
like he's just an alcoholic and child abuser that snaps. And it's a character study.
Just breaks him.
Well, less of a character study and more of a character portrait.
Destruction,
almost.
or I don't know.
You just kind of
You kind of just watch this man be destroyed, really.
Yeah, I don't think this isn't a negative what I'm saying, but Jack.
He's not really a
I said this to
character.
you, He's not a character. Well, I mean, he's a character. But he kind of just turns up, and then the next time you see him, he's a little bit weird, and then
he gets weirder and weirder.
and then he's just insane. But the fact that there's so much pretext that you could think about sort of before that, and the film gives you enough to chew on to think about like why. That's why I think it's impressive. I mean, if there had been no
backstory, or
for lack of a better word, then it would have been a much.
it would have just been
worse
some
movie.
dude that just kind of went crazy.
And I guess that's credit to Kubrick. And was it Diane Johnson who wrote the
Yeah,
screenplay?
well, she didn't really
old
write the
Di.
script. She helped Kubrick write the script, but he gave her credit because he's a nice guy to anyone that isn't.
In Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall.
I don't think Callum knows about this.
You don't know about this.
So anyone who's
Let me
listening
in
who
on this
doesn't know
beef.
about this, then that's great.
Put your seatbelts on, kids. We're going for a ride.
By the
Strap
way,
it
if you
in.
haven't seen The Shining, watch it. And,
I think it's a bit late to say spoilers.
But I was just going to say it's on Amazon Prime UK, so it's really easy to
Is it
watch.
really?
So go watch it and come back.
Hell yeah!
If you
I got on DVD.
Hell yeah.
Go on, son. Okay, well, let's talk about Shelley Duvall, shall we? Poor Shelley Duvall.
Enlighten me on Shelley.
The woman who played Wendy. During the
She was great.
Fifth.
She's so sweet.
She's-
Okay, Callum.
During the filming,
really wasn't.
oh no! During the filming of The Shining, the director Stanley Kubrick was a bit of an arse to her. He constantly berated her and called her crap. He constantly,
You're wasting everyone's time, Shelley.
he constantly like
It doesn't sound like that. I
He
don't
just-
know why I said that.
he was mean to her, and in part that was to get a good performance out of her, and he did. But he caused her so much stress that like she has depression now, and she
I don't
blames
think
it on Stanley
I don't think
Kubrick.
she does any more acting.
Was it? She doesn't do like any more acting anymore because she is so mentally unhinged due to Kubrick. You know the scene where Jack is like, "Give me the bat, Wendy."
Oh
Like, Wendy, darling, light of my life.
This is mine and Ben's favourite thing to
Yeah.
quote.
Yeah. He during that scene, and she's like screaming. She's like really distressed. She wasn't scared at Jack
Kind of
Nicholson.
feebly trying to
Yeah,
use
she.
that bat.
That was her. That was her and Kubrick. She was terrified of him because he wasn't very nice to her. But at the end of the day, because when he first casted her, no one thought she could do it, except for him. Everyone, like his producers, even Jack Nicholson, said, "Get someone else. She's not good enough." But Kubrick kind of stuck to his gun and said, "I will make her good enough." So he had faith in her. But at the same time, he was kind of an arse.
Do you think, going off that, I think it's an interesting question. Do you think it's not right? Do you think it's justifiable to punish someone like that for the art? Because on one hand, you've made a pretty good movie, but
Very good movie.
obviously The Shining is kind of a special case because it wasn't at the time it was made. That wasn't really a thing.
1980.
There was no Twitter there, so people couldn't get mad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of a different time.
It's only because of her coming out and other people coming out into interviews telling
Yeah,
her.
like Dr. Phil was the big one, wasn't it?
Was it?
Who
Oh,
interviewed her? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's right at all.
I think
Someone should
to an
be treated
extent,
like
if a director wants to yell at his actors, he can. You can tell. Well, because the director's job is to tell an actor what to do. They're trying to direct the film.
But it's not their job to sort of emotionally abuse.
Yeah,
someone.
emotional
That's
abuse
That's a
and-
bit different.
And you can say, oh, it's for the art, but like, at what cost?
It's still emotional abuse, isn't it? So.
It's like that Thanos meme, It's like, I did it for the art, but at what cost?
Oh yeah.
Everything.
I think sort of another question that's quite interesting is like, should you just place your faith in an actor or an actress to be able to deliver you the performance and try and work with them, or do you?
Depends which
Like-
actor.
like-
Who's gonna
Like try and do elaborate kind of
How
like
can you
meta games to try and fit them into their character more. Like, I just think
It
it's an
really
interesting
depends, like what
discussion.
kind of direct you are, or what kind of actor. Like you're not going to get a good performance out of Jai Courtney, so you might have to emotionally abuse him, because Jai Courtney's a terrible actor. Fight me.
Yeah. Who's Jai Courtney?
He played Captain Boomerang in Suicide
Wasn't
Squad.
he in?
Oh yeah, that was bad enough. I
Oh,
don't.
he
To
was
be
in-
fair,
I
he
don't
was
need
the
to know.
best character in that movie.
He was
but-
Terminator 5 in Terminator 5, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in that.
He was that guy.
Oh,
Oh, I confuse him with that other guy that's bad.
which one?
Who's Quicksilver in Age?
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Who actually is great in Nocturnal Animals?
Which is weird.
Yeah.
He's in Godzilla as well.
Anyway,
Bad.
Callum, talk about. You said you find The Shining a little bit dry in places. I'm quite interesting because it's such a well-liked movie now. It's almost hard to criticize it. Like, I mean, some people
If you criticize it, I'll stab you.
I think
but
it's
it's quite
because
interesting to see that. Like,
I watch quite a lot of horror movies anyway.
Yeah.
And this wasn't really your. Well, yeah,
It's
I
not your
watch
typical-
sort of like the
More modern
cheesy
horror.
sort of modern ones with Susie
Insidious
quite
and
a
stuff.
lot.
Ew.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is
You seen
really
the new
bad.
It movie?
It was good. I really liked
I
it.
quite
Yeah, it
liked
was
it.
fine.
But that's more of the type of stuff I'm used to. Like.
Yeah, rather
So
than the kind of
this-
really weird type of horror
this-
that The Shining
This
exhibits.
builds, doesn't it? It builds really, really, really slowly. So you are just everyone knows that scene with the axe. You don't have to watch the movie
Here's
to know
Johnny.
that scene, right?
But it's still
So
a great
you're-
scene in the film.
It's a
It really
great scene,
works.
but you're almost waiting for him to go completely insane, aren't you? And waiting for that.
You-
because
you're
you know
waiting-
it's what's going to happen.
In the very
Yeah.
beginning, when he says, "I can assure you, Mr. Olin, that's not going to happen
Oh
with
my
me,"
God,
you
yes.
know,
Yes,
you're
you
like,
know
"Oh,
it's
he's
go-
gonna
yeah.
kill his family by the end of this."
Which,
And it's just a waiting game for you going, "Is this when he's gonna snap?"
Yeah.
There's that shot of him looking outside the hotel. He's just got this blank stare, and it's there for
A
over
zoom.
10 seconds. It just zooms
No
into
normal
his face.
guy looks out a window.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
I feel like that's the point where you're like, "Oh, he snapped. They're gonna
Yeah.
come back and he's gonna try to kill them." But that's not the point where he snaps.
I really like.
I feel.
I mean, we haven't talked. We talked about it for quite a while after you watch it, Ben. But I think the camera work
Oh yes,
is lovely, and
the cinematography in that.
You said the guy who invented Steadicam.
He filmed the tricycle shots.
Yeah,
That-
and it
in
was
fact,
the
yeah, when
first-
it's
that
when
was
it's sort of panning down the
tricycle-
corridors
the ti-
quite slowly. That's
The tricycle shots were the first ever implementation of Steadicam ever in a movie,
Wow.
because the guy who invented it for The Shining.
There's one. You know when he's swinging the axe against the door. For some reason, I get really obsessed with like the like tiny little things. But when he's swinging the axe back, the camera just follows the axe, and it's this really like just tight little whip pan, and it just makes the whole. It makes the shot. Feel a little scary, like it's sudden and jarring. Because you have a static shot of Wendy in the corner, and then you have this like.
Yeah,
when
that's
he's in
the
action,
thing with The
oh.
Shining. Every single
I just think it's
element
really cool.
of the film, every single shot, every single character, every single item on the set,
Every
single inflection,
No exceptions.
every single inflection of dialogue that the actors utter is made to emotionally unnerve the audience. And Stephen King said it best when he said, "The Shining is a film that is designed to hurt people." And that, because Stephen King, the author of the original book, hates that movie. He despises it.
I don't think hates.
No,
I just
he
think
really
he
doesn't
doesn't.
like the
Why does he dislike
because
it?
it's not too loyal to his book. And he tried to make he made a TV
which is fair
miniseries that
enough.
was more loyal and was really crap. But the book's a good book. It just didn't work on.
I think it's fair enough for King to not like it because it's his story,
Yeah,
right?
it-
And so to see
he
your
has-
story kind of in a way that you don't agree with is a little. Probably
But I
Yeah,
don't
at
think
the same
again.
time,
I
it's
don't
not
feel
easy
like
to
the
adapt,
Kubrick
so-
movie is not
No.
Stephen King's. It's not Stephen King's
I mean,
story.
famously, King said Kubrick took a King book and made a Kubrick movie out
Yeah,
of it.
and that's the thing. They pretty much. It's essentially they got the kind of same base, and they both did completely different things with it. I think Kubrick's thing is better, but that's just me.
I haven't read the book, but I
You
really
read the
liked
book,
it.
Ben?
I've read parts of it. I've got it. I need to read the whole thing, but I've read.
So I've read
meaty
somewhere
paragraphs.
in-
It's good,
in-
it's good.
In
It's
the
a good
book
book.
that that Jack properly breaks Danny's arm.
The backstory.
Yeah, it's much more. It's much
You know,
more
it
about.
It gives you more of a backstory.
They
doesn't
they
it?
give you more backstory to all the characters.
of
Like
backstory,
Wendy has daddy issues. Jack beat up a kid. That's why he got fired from being a
on a
teacher.
playground, didn't he?
Yeah, because they slashed his tires. And Jack, they mention it in the movie. But Jack broke Danny's arm, and that's the incident that kind of labeled Jack as the child beater that Wendy pushes on him constantly.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
Good movie. 5 out of 5.
I don't know. I think all the performances, with the exception of maybe some parts from Danny Lloyd, because he's a kid. I mean, he does pretty well.
It's
Are so great. I think is it Scatman Crothers?
the guy who plays Dick. Yeah, Scatman.
He's so lovely.
He's
When
we were
to
talking about
Danny,
this.
and he's like,
no,
who said you
Scatman.
weren't supposed to talk about it? You're like, oh my god, this guy's just.
And then he just dies. He gets
Oh,
full
yeah.
on axed, and you see the shot of Danny screaming because they're psychically linked, and you know that the pain of the axe going into Dick's chest, Danny's feeling
That was brutal. I was kind of expecting that though.
yeah, that's
weren't
the
you?
thing.
The
I
way
wouldn't
it was
call
sort
that a
of-
jump scare.
It was definitely not a jump scare. It
My
built
phone
up
just went
to
off.
him being killed.
I
didn't it?
love the final. I'd call it a set piece in the maze. When they're walking around, just the way it's lit, the sort of that cold lighting.
Yeah.
It just
Oh.
looks great. The way the camera's
And
sneaking around
when
following
Danny gets out the maze and Jack is left in there and he's like moaning.
Oh yeah,
he sounds like a wounded animal, and I can't help but to feel sympathy for him.
I
I'm like,
don't feel so. I just wanted to.
I love Jack as a character. I think he's such an asshole, but I love him. He's just Jack Nicholson.
I love
great actor.
I love that moment where he's not for any sort of like masochistic reason, but when he's left in that maze and he's just walking around, just going like
Yeah,
he's
that's what I was
so-
talking about.
like,
I feel sympathy for him,
but he's reduced to something so pathetic.
like a wounded animal.
Yeah, but I still don't feel sympathy for him.
Okay, yeah. I mean, like he is. At the end of the day, he's a massive prick. So,
But I
you're
just-
justified in not liking him at all.
I just loved that as an end to his character that we see on screen. Like that's how he, and then it cuts to him frozen in the
dead.
maze.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the way it was shot in the maze, especially. It was so dark, but it was so cool. But then obviously that contradicts with the white of the snow as well, so you can obviously still see where they are.
I can't say I found it scary. I found it
I did.
little. What did I say? I think what did I say about? I said.
You said you couldn't stop thinking about the blowjob.
Oh
dog.
no. I mean,
No, the blowjob bear.
I said it was like my oh geez movie.
Like as soon as Harry and I finished watching it, because it has the end shot with the photo 1921, and then I could just hear Harry in the back just whisper, "What the fuck?" And it was quite funny because it's a wonderful way to sum it up.
It was just every weird little moment. I'd just be like, oh jeez.
Oh gee.
Like it's
this
gay.
ain't good.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly. It's that this ain't good movie, and it unnerved me a little bit. I wouldn't say I call it. I wouldn't say I wouldn't even call it a horror film. I don't think I'd call it more of a
Psychological thriller.
psychological.
Yeah, that's a good way of.
I'd say
I would
more of a
thriller.
psychological drama. I think it's a bit slow to be called a thriller, to be honest.
Okay,
Not
cool.
that that's a bad thing. I think it works.
I feel like the scares that The Shining exudes are more types of scares that just sit with you. They're not like scares that scare you up front, but it's like the thought. It's a movie that haunts its audience in the way that a ghost would haunt a hotel. Hey, look at that, full circle. But I get a weird feeling like when I watch The Shining. It's not. I do agree with you to an extent. Like I don't get scared when I see the decomposing naked woman.
That was super goofy.
The Shining.
Seriously, I was.
You
Yeah,
were
it's pretty
you were
weird.
probably really horny.
She starts like walking towards him, and like,
She's like, "Ah."
and he shuts the. Oh my lord!
I've heard an
That's probably the most disturbing part about this movie: the saggy tits.
Okay. I'm not going to cut that out, just so you can listen back on it and feel ashamed.
You might censor it. I don't know. Are we? Oh dear. I feel like The Shining is a perfect film that you've heard of the Uncanny Valley, both of you. You know what that is. I feel like it's a perfect film that lives there. It lives in the Uncanny Valley. Like even the way the actors were shot, because the entire movie was shot with a wide lens, and when you have wide lens shooting close-ups, it kind of elongates and distorts faces. So that's why they casted not traditionally attractive actors like Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson. Like if you look at a lot of horror movies of the 80s and 70s, everyone was really hot in those. Like you had really
like this sort of attractive female lead.
Yeah,
wouldn't you? That would die.
it adds to the
Like,
voice.
yeah,
Screams,
like
does
you
the dramatic
like you get,
screams.
like Claire Foy and Ryan Gosling or something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who are not bad actors by any means.
No,
but
but
It
yeah, I
adds
get
to
what
the
you mean.
voyeuristic appeal of horror movies, as well as
for sure.
just a bit of eye candy.
I don't think.
But with The Shining, they went for less than conventionally attractive people like Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson, and further deformed them.
Jack Nicholson has a crazy face, man.
Yeah,
Like,
and they further deformed them by shooting them in close-ups
Callum
with wide
looks
wide
so
angles.
Terrifying. Jack Nicholson's terrifying.
I don't think.
I love Jack. I've got a signed photo of Jack Nicholson. It's got the "Here's Johnny" moment. That's probably like my most treasured thing.
That's
I
pretty
don't
darn
think.
cool.
I don't think it's like as Uncanny Valley as some other films. I think it's a weird one. I don't think
Give me
it's
one
like
that's more Uncanny Valley.
House,
Never seen it.
1977.
Okay,
It's a Oh, it's
Is it a Jack Nicholson movie?
No, it's a Japanese movie.
Oh.
It is so weird. There's a
Remember
point.
that movie Monster House? This is a bit of segue.
Oh,
You remember Monster House?
the
High five!
nostalgia. Yes, Ben.
Monster
Haven't
House.
seen
Go
it.
watch it.
Like the second, what's his name? Mr.
Nevercracker.
The second he comes out the house, and you see him in the window and like
He's spooky.
the door, and then he runs out.
It's
Get
good.
off my lawn!
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, back to The
Rugby
Shining.
tackles a kid.
Go watch Monster House. You're
It's
gonna
really
look up
bad.
Monster House.
I'm adding it to my list right now.
It's not very good.
No, I feel like it's a good kids horror movie. It doesn't like pander to any sort of fan base, nor does it
Watching
jump
when you're
scares.
young.
It's a genuinely
terrifying.
good horror movie for kids. Anyway, back to the horror movie for the big boys.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say it's a horror movie for the big boys. I think it's sort of it's
It's a movie that fucks with you.
it's a movie that will be suitable for
It's a
a
timeless,
fair few sort of.
It's a timeless
age bracket.
classic.
My mum hates it. It freaks her out so
I don't
much.
like your mum anymore. My
no.
mum loves it.
No, but in a sense of that she has no desire to rewatch it because it freaks her out.
If
so much.
Harry's mum is it's freaked her out. If Harry's mum is watching,
PTSD.
listening, whatever, I don't hate you. I just disprove. Wait, no, she doesn't. I like the fact that you got scared at a movie.
She lives here.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me record at your house.
It's also just an opinion.
Yeah, opinions can be wrong. Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one. Some are full of shit.
But I think The Shining is really, really good, and I'd like to see it again. I'm gonna get it.
Masterpiece.
Get it on Blu-ray properly.
Oh, look at that.
Add it to the collection.
Yeah, it's definitely something I think you'll have to watch more than once. 'Cause
Give
the
it time.
The first time, yeah. I mean, I don't think
I
I've
got-
left it enough time to sink in. Really.
Just from one watch of it, I got to the movie's credit. I think I got so. I think I said during the film, I got so sick of that bloody hotel lobby and just a hotel in general.
That's
Like,
kind of the point.
yeah,
It's
well, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's to drive the
feels so
audience insane
claustrophobic,
as much as
doesn't
the
it?
characters.
That's what I'm saying. It's the movie's credit. It just.
I don't feel like I feel like the way that they shoot the hallways with the wide lens, making them really big, it doesn't make it claustrophobic like a traditional horror movie would. It makes it more isolated, and it adds to the feeling
isolated
of
is
isolated.
probably a better
the
word.
characters are feeling. But other than that, what about have you?
Would we call it Cabin Fever the movie?
No, because that's
As in the best Cabin Fever movie?
yeah. I feel like that's a worthy title. I would personally, I believe it's the best horror movie of all time, but apparently you two don't even consider it a horror movie, so let's just leave it at that.
I think psychological thriller. Harry
let's-
thinks
let-
more.
Psychological
Let's just
drama.
call it the best psychological drama.
I don't feel like we have to
psychological
label it as
film.
Yes,
such.
we do. Everything needs to be labelled. You're
I
the
don't-
guy with the Sonic shirt. He's the one who's in the band.
I don't. I don't watch a lot of horror. I'm just scanning my shelf to see if I've got.
You got
any.
Pulp Fiction. That's a good movie.
It's not a horror film.
Big Kahuna
Drive.
Burger.
That's
Shaun of
terrifying.
the Dead's probably my favorite horror film. So
That's a romantic comedy with
I
zombies.
just find I watch like Insidious and I've seen a couple of modern horror films. I'm just like I'm not into this.
Have we?
It's just
have
You
you
know
boring.
when the jump scares are going to be now because it's
It builds up.
what it does is most horror films now it does one thing where you think there's going to be a jump scare and then there isn't, so you always know there's going to be one at the second time where it's building up.
It really,
It's like, oh, we psyched you. There wasn't a jump scare. Boo! A jump
But now
scare.
there is, yeah. They
I-
turn around.
Yeah.
I think it really depends how you define a horror movie. For me, a horror movie is something that
Like keeps you up at night thinking about the blowjob bear.
less just more something that's inherently, not inherently, it's the wrong word, that's scary.
I think-
not necessarily haunting. I consider that more of a psychological
Okay.
thing.
Well, yeah. If by that
I think The
definition,
Shining is a great movie. I don't feel like we have to say, oh, it's the best in this genre or whatever.
Yeah.
Because the fact we all three of us consider it in different genres is probably testament to how it blends them.
yeah. For me, I would assess the success of a horror movie on how well it can haunt the audience and how long it sticks with the audience after
Yeah.
the cameras stop rolling. And
Yeah,
after-
not-
in my head a
and in-
lot.
in-
I think
in-
that's kind of what it's not
in
there
the-
to scare you as such.
it's there to stick with you.
Yeah,
And
not-
in that
exactly.
aspect,
not just-
Shining is unparalleled.
Not just a face jumping out someone with a violin, one string, and thinking,
Yeah,
"Oh,
it's
it
about-
got me!" Whoa.
It's about the creepy stare that the bear gives you from across the hall as he lifts up after sucking another man's penis.
No, it zooms in, and then the guy
Yeah.
sits up, and you're like, "Oh God."
no, that's not good. Have you heard about the conspiracy theories
Oh.
surrounding The
Let
Shining?
them
About this
begin.
we do need to start wrapping this up now, but
God
we
damn
talk,
it.
we talk about this pretty quickly. Yeah.
Got Venom.
The Shining
Oh, yeah.
The Shining is a subconscious confession from Kubrick about how he faked the moon landing. It's also an
Alleg-
allegory for the
allegedly,
it's also an allegory for the Holocaust, as well as an allegory for the Native American slaughter, as well as literally a domestic abuse. I've heard some people interpret it as Jack's a paedophile.
I think it's disingenuous to say it is.
Yeah,
an
there
allegory
are
for the
so
Holocaust.
many conspiracy
It's
theories surrounding it.
interpreted as such, and I think it's interesting.
And that's one of the things to the film's credit.
Yeah,
That
the
it's
slaughter of the Native Americans, I think, is a really interesting one because they mention the hotel's built on an Indian
burial
ground.
ground.
Yeah.
And I think there's also a lot of
damn.
Native American imagery, but it's kind of a testament on how long the film has lasted since 1980. People to this day are still analyzing it, trying to figure out what it means. And yeah, no one's had a conclusive answer.
It's the you see a movie and like there's an ambiguous ending and you're like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
Like
it is-
this is the movie, like
Yeah.
all the way through.
Oh,
like
but
you're like, what's
let's just
happening?
wrap
Can
it
we-
up.
Can we talk about the
ending?
Delbert Grady, who played him? Philip Stone. Is that his name?
That line, you know the cook line?
Oh,
Cook.
yeah.
Cook. He says the N word and then cook.
He's
The way
he's so great in that role.
He shops.
He's not even in the movie for that long. He's just
Cook.
oh.
He's a very likable guy.
He's a ghost who chopped off his children, then blew his face off with a shotgun.
Very likable guy.
How?
Well, to watch as a character is quite like.
Yeah.
His character
As the
itself
little
isn't
butler,
likable, but
the little butler man.
you've always been the
I think-
caretaker, sir.
What was your final reaction? Like, I think we can end it off by talking about the literal ending of the film.
Okay.
When you finished watching it, what was the first thing that popped in your head? That shot of the hallway, and it says 4th of July, 1921, and it's got Jack's face. What was instant thing that popped in your head?
The thing that popped in my head was, there was that. I just feel like it could happen all over again, couldn't it?
You feel like it's a never-ending cycle.
I feel like it is a never-ending cycle, and that
Ooh.
someone else.
Which you
is
can
going
add to the domestic abuse interpretation.
I
I feel like someone else would.
someone else is
will
gonna,
now
another
come in
caretaker's gonna do it because
and-
Jack
Yeah,
repeated what the Grady dude did.
exactly.
And now someone's
that's
gonna
what
do
I'm on
what Jack
about,
did.
right?
I like
that's
that.
That's why I don't think it's necessarily Jack
Who's gone?
who's gone crazy. I think it must be the hotel.
Oh, that's a really interesting idea. So using the image of a guy that's in a photograph to
that photo-
almost,
yeah.
to
Yeah.
almost be
You know the
a
pho-
very literal allegory for something bigger.
You know the photograph was actually taken in 1921. It's a real. Yeah, they airbrushed Jack Nicholson's face over.
Oh, I see. I was
Also-
I don't think Jack Nicholson was alive.
Yeah.
or
Also,
that old in
the
1921.
the famous inventor Nikola Tesla.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
in
yeah.
that photograph.
No way.
Yeah, he is.
But like,
cool.
if you look,
He's at the front. You can see him.
Cool. Sorry, Callum. Go on.
all those people in that photo
You think they're all
could have been
souls of like.
Caretakers.
I think that's it. It's in
Oh,
in the
take
book.
that in.
In the book, the hotel like absorbs the soul, and that's the absorption theory. The book and movie are two totally different things. Just because something's right in the book doesn't mean it is in the movie. Harry, how did you like? What was your reaction to the ending?
I think I said, "Are you kidding me?" It almost.
Are you kidding me? I like that.
I was thinking throughout the whole movie, like, what? And we say it doesn't give you any answers. I feel like one of the only answers it does give you with the ending is like, oh, okay, this stands for bigger things.
Yeah,
you're thinking about. You're thinking, okay, maybe this is. Maybe this is standing for bigger thing as you're going through, and then the ending happens. You're like, oh my god! So this is all, and then
what does it mean?
And then you go back through the and then your head sort of scours all the previous moments of the movie. I just, it was a really good ending.
Yeah.
And it's not even it's just that shot. It zooms and then fades to a closer zoom and then keeps fading.
Yeah.
And then it keeps getting closer, and you're like, I get it.
Yeah, I remember when we were watching it together. You were just like, "That can't be the ending. That can't be." And then as soon as the credit, you're like, "Is that it?" And then the credits start
I
rolling,
felt
and Harry
exactly
was just
the
like,
same.
"What?"
Not in a way that I didn't feel underwhelmed at all.
Yeah.
I was just
You were
like,
just
oh
like,
my god, no
You
way.
can't just end it there. Yeah, but they did, and
Give me more.
yeah, that's the thing. I think it was I have a film studies teacher who she always says that like once you finish a movie, the best thing to do is watch it again. And I feel like The Shining.
Not right afterwards.
Well, that's what she thinks.
I disagree
And
with
I
that.
feel like-
Definitely not.
I mean, maybe
that
you get a
makes
bit
you sink in. And
Yeah, you
need
get
to-
fatigue.
You need
Well,
time
because
to breathe.
If you
mate.
rewatch The Shining
A
as soon
week's
as you
time,
watch it,
maybe.
Yeah.
if you rewatch The Shining as soon as you watch it, you pick up on so much. You're like, oh, this means that this is this, and that is equals to this.
I think the first time, speaking maybe a bit generally, I think the first time you watch a film, you can just sort of take it as it comes and just let it sort of merge into one thing and have it as one experience. And then the second time,
You're more analytic.
I sort of
You're more
allow
like,
myself.
What does that mean?
I sort of, because I know what's happening, I sort of allow myself to think about structure and think about
Pacing.
maybe
and-
yeah, pacing is the correct word.
Yeah.
So Ben, what was your final reaction the first time you watched it?
What? I was really
when
like.
was the first time you watched it?
Oh, I watched it when I was like 13. I was a bad kid.
Jeez.
But then I rewatched.
That would have absolutely destroyed
but that
me.
was-
As a,
I
that would have
didn't-
creeped me out
I
so
didn't-
much.
I
I
didn't
destroyed
really-
you last year.
I didn't
Harry.
really appreciate for its artistic value, and then I rewatched it when I was like 17, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is like the best movie ever made," and that's why it's I love that movie. Easily my favorite film ever.
I'm very glad. We're going to need to talk about Birdman at some point.
That's a good movie.
I got lots to
Whoa.
say about Birdman.
I love Birdman.
Well, you won't.
Hell
be
yeah.
there.
It's a good movie.
Cry. Can I be like the guest every week? You always need a guest, don't
Yeah,
you?
Instead of Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob's getting replaced. Just kidding.
So
Jacob.
that's
Love
The
you.
Shining. So just a look, we got to go get food in a minute, but
We got to talk about Venom.
yeah,
We'll
just
do a
briefly.
quick 10-minute kind
Yeah, I was going to say about 10 minutes.
I got the-
So we're going to talk about that recent Venom trailer. By the time this goes out, it will have been probably about a month ago. The Venom trailer came out.
But
But we got a lot
shut
to say.
up because it just came out like yesterday for a couple of days ago for us, and we want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh god, it looks.
No, it just looks bad.
Yeah.
To compare, I saw like trailer 1 where they didn't really show much of the CGI and stuff, and it was just I was like, oh, okay, this.
I was annoyed at that
I
trailer.
was like, this.
You're not even going to show the title character.
I didn't
Yeah,
mind, but
that was a bit.
I was like, this might be fine. And
get
then
they
I
were-
watched the second trailer. It just looks so bad.
It's just laughable. Venom's not a comedic character. It's not
Like
threatening
a
at all.
turd in the wind.
No, it's the bit where he's standing and like Venom like comes out of him. and
Oh,
there's
I
this
like
little
that.
bubble
I
next to his
I
head.
liked that. I thought that was.
Oh,
I thought
nice.
that looked
Ever.
funny. That was like, "Hi, I'm Venom." It's like a puppeteer.
like a Muppet,
oh,
isn't it?
What if they did like a ventriloquist thing, where you get Eddie Brock and Venom is like a ventriloquist
puppet.
act? Yeah, I want to see
Wait,
that
no,
as a
I don't-
movie. Hey, look at me, kids! I'm Venom. Where's that pesky Spider-Man?
I think they're just. I said this earlier, but
Like a turd in the
not
wind.
on the podcast, but I feel Venom's reminding me a lot of Ultron from Age of Ultron. Like they have this really.
Lips.
I don't like valuing comic book movies on the source material because I think you should value them as completely different things.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
But
But Ultron, just
let's
Ultron in the movie is trash. The comic Ultron is a god.
let's just take Venom as he looks in the film. He's this massive like you're like,
Black-
you're like okay, and then they try and do this like he's being threatening, but he's being kind of funny and but brutal without saying, and that's exactly what they did for Ultron, and it didn't work.
It doesn't look like he's not the kind of character that you look at and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna expect him to say like a turd in the wind.
Yeah.
But he looks like the kind of motherfucker that would eat you.
Also, I had loads of issues. So apparently, Tom Hardy's voicing Venom as well.
Is he really?
Yeah, but
I kind of like the voice they're doing. It's all right.
They've lathered so many effects on it. I genuinely made out about 2 words of what he was saying at the end of the trailer.
Were those turd and wind?
But I really can understand what he's saying. I saw a tweet. I think it was I Hate Everything. Paraphrased it as like, I can't wait to pick up your nugget body and throw it like a poo poo. Like,
I love. Shout out to I Hate Everything.
I'm not hopeful. They're doing Sony. We can open this up now to sort of
Craven.
Yeah, so that Sony are making a Craven the Hunter film as well.
Didn't Marvel? Oh no, Marvel got the Fox rights just back.
So I guess they've still got the rights.
Well, no, because it's weird. It's like a joint thing. Because like
we've still got to milk the Spider-Man characters. So let's make villain movies.
It's like, why would you do that?
That always.
That
works.
sounds like something DC would do.
It worked with Suicide Squad, didn't it?
No, it didn't.
I was going to exclude the source material, but I do think it's an interesting point to make that Venom typically is this.
He's an anti-hero.
Specifically, the I don't. He's not an anti-hero.
He is in the comics. He never kills innocents.
I think he works better as a villain.
Carnage,
just because he's
Carnage.
stereotypically.
Carnage is the one that murders just everyone relentlessly. He's the mass murdering.
I like that a lot.
Kill
more.
Everyone because they're alive.
You have this teenager Spider-Man against this like unstoppable killing machine. Like it's a really interesting dynamic.
Whoops.
So making Venom
knocked over
like,
Harry's Lego.
Oh, he's quirky, intimidating, but also relatable, and he's Tom Hardy. And look, he comes out of the suit and he's like,
I like the casting.
Sorry, Mrs.
Turds.
Chang. Like,
I like the casting choice of
Tom Hardy's
Hardy
just good in everything.
Yeah,
like, he just makes everything good. So when
especially the Dark Knight Rises.
he's just he's a really good naturalistic actor.
Hardy.
I didn't like that movie.
The Dark Knight Rises.
Not really.
I love Tom Hardy's Bane.
fine,
Just the meme,
I guess.
the
I
meme
haven't
of
seen it
it.
in a while, but yeah.
Bane memes are amazing.
one of us in the wreckage, brother. Oh god, that's spiking on the.
That is.
But also, there's going to be loads of different like symbiotes, isn't there? So it's just going to be.
So far, there's only like another one which is going to be the villain, but it's
No,
kind
I've
of.
heard that there's another one in the trailer. There's a female as well.
Oh, God.
So Riz Ahmed is playing the villain.
Mm.
There's a bit right at the end of the trailer where they're fighting, and it kind of does this
There's
sweeping shot.
You know that kind of like
So
big.
Riz Ahmed actually becomes a symbiote from the comics called Riot.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
And there's also that
love
female
how
one. Is
you
it
know.
Scream?
There are a lot
with
of
the hair.
symbiotes
I
in
don't
the
think she was
comics.
in the trailer, but
The only
No,
good-
there was a female one, and she made like these like.
Oh, I see. Oh,
massive-
the Asian woman.
Yeah, the Asian
Yeah,
one.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
The
But
only good
Woody Harrelson is playing
symbiote-
Carnage, apparently.
But not Carnage. He's just Cletus Cassidy.
So I'm really
the
hoping
guy who turns
God,
into
really?
Carnage. Yeah. They're not doing Carnage until
Do
the sequel or
Carnage.
something. Why?
Oh, we have to save the good bits for the next movie. There won't
Why is
be
it
a
going to be
Venom
like
2.
Focus
it's gonna be
on
like bloody
making a
Power
good
Rangers,
movie.
though, isn't it? With all the different coloured like.
To be fair,
I wish they would
Power
just,
Rangers is better than this. And I'm talking as not a Power Rangers fan.
I wish they would all just.
Not the movie. The
I
movie
wish they
was
would just
pretty
pull together all the best ideas that they had that could make this movie work
And
just make a really good movie, rather than like, oh, we're gonna save this.
That's why The Shining is better than everything else.
Well,
Well,
definitely
fight
gonna be
to me!
better than
any
Venom,
like
isn't it?
non-comic book movie, but
I mean,
or non-cinematic universe movie. I guess.
ScreenWipe,
know.
cinematic universe. It's
I
gonna
think that's
happen.
kind of. Do you want to like quickly talk about Titans and like Godzilla?
fuck.
I haven't
So,
seen.
so if we're doing,
You haven't seen the
Godzilla.
Titans trailer.
I've seen the Titans.
Oh,
one.
okay.
we'll
Let's
just
talk about Godzilla
we'll
first.
just do a little like trailer kind of roundup. Maybe?
A little lightning round
I
thing.
guess so. Godzilla, let's go. I think it looks really
I
good.
cannot wait. Oh god, Mothra's wings.
So
Ah!
Ben's wearing a Godzilla shirt. Right
I'm
now.
a
feel like
massive
I need to
Godzilla
watch
fan,
this trailer.
and it looks so much better than
I'll show it to you in a
2014. It looks like they actually give a shit about the monsters. And I've watched interviews, and the director, he's a really big Godzilla fan, and I'm so excited for this movie.
Yeah, I've only seen the original.
Oh, I'm so.
Godzilla.
Oh, that
Ben,
was such
you
a
getting
good
so
trailer.
I
excited.
don't really
It's
like the color palette, but I think it looks really.
I love how they're going with the whole post-apocalyptic
But
thing.
the focus on the monsters, I think it could be really good. I think
Callum's
I'm
got a
just quite-
didgeridoo.
What's my didgeridoo from Australia?
Have you been to Australia? That is
I
not.
think it's from Singapore, actually.
Why'd you get it? Okay, whatever.
Gucci.
Next
Oh.
up, Aquaman. That was shit.
Oh my lord! It's just underwater Thor, isn't it?
Really?
That's the characters are so similar.
I love the Getty Images shark. He was my favorite character. Shazam. Shazam looks good.
Shazam looks really
Shazam
good.
looks fun.
I
just looks fun.
I feel
doesn't it?
like it's a fun little time. Yeah.
I really liked the look of Shazam.
It's
and
exactly how I wanted
I
it.
watched
Just
it. Callum texted the link to me and was like, "Henry, you should watch this right now." So I was at work, so I went to the toilets and sat in a cubicle and watched it on my phone. But I was like, I grinned the whole way through, apart from the bit where he flosses, which kind of annoys me.
Well, that's
but,
going on the thumbnail of this episode.
it might run the border of being a bit cringe, but I think
well, he's a kid. He's a kid. He's gonna do something stupid like kids do Fortnite dances
but-
in real life. If you do Fortnite dances in real life, you're a degenerate.
I mean, they can make the character.
You're a
do something
legend if you do that.
No, you're not.
Cringe
Yeah, you
within
are.
the film. I just mean something that's like, oh, that doesn't really work. But
It
for
works.
now, I'm hoping it'll be a blast.
Yeah,
Really
it
am.
looks genuinely fun. It looks
it
like
does look
DC
fun.
got their heads out their asses and actually did something.
Titans.
Man
There's
of
not much
Steel
more to
sucks,
be said
Jacob.
than
Fuck
Jesus
Batman.
Christ.
What's her name? Dove. When she slashes that dude's leg, the
think
sound.
this
I
is
think
the
it was
first
Quentin
trailer.
Reviews that did a tweet. The sound
like Quentin
design.
Reviews.
Yeah, he's good. The sound design. The sound she makes when she
goes-
slashes the guy's
It
leg.
goes shing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you took it
so
from a-
bad.
It's horrible.
Let
This is
alone-
the first trailer I couldn't watch all
It's
the way
so.
through.
Did you get to the fuck Batman part?
Yes.
Because that's
yeah,
the
God.
best part.
I think
Ah.
the blood
Bad.
splatters are so obviously put in as well. It
Yeah,
looks
it just
terrible.
looks. It looks hilarious
I
though.
was actually-
I would love to watch it.
So the first 30 seconds, you see Raven, and I'm like, oh, this looks like made for TV. And then there's that shot of what's his face as Robin.
I think he looks the part. I
Yeah,
can't remember.
Brendan Thwaites, I think.
He looks alright.
And
The
they have that
costume's
zoom in
right. It's
shot
just
where he stood there in this like shirt, and I'm like, all right, I actually see this guy
That's
as
another
Robin.
thing.
And then it just gets so bad.
it goes downhill for that.
Does it even look? It looks.
As a fan of the original Teen Titans show, which is coming back, go watch
Oh,
Teen Titans.
I'm-
Go to the movie. Apparently, it's good. I haven't
yeah,
seen it yet.
I'm a big fan of the original Teen Titan show too.
Yeah, good show.
That's
really
another thing, right? I know Dick Grayson does like sort of stuff by himself as Nightwing.
Yeah.
But
He did stuff as Robin.
did
by
he do
himself
stuff
with
as
the
Robin
Teen-
by himself?
Yeah, he
have
originally
no
the
idea.
Teen Titans was him, Kid Flash, Speedy, who's the Green Arrow sidekick, and then Wonder Girl. But the
Arsenal as well.
yeah, the most famous one,
Yeah.
the most famous team of the Teen Titans was the New Teen Titans, which was a comic run in the 80s that was Cyborg, Beast Boy, Starfire, Raven, and Robin.
Cyborg. Ooh, he
Cyborg's
looked
not in the
cool
show.
in
They
Justice
replaced
League,
him
didn't he?
with. They replaced Cyborg with two characters called Hawk and Dove, who are not interesting at all. So
Yeah.
that sucks.
Stuff.
I guess
What is
that's
the
kind of it.
fascination with animals?
Anything else to say, guys?
Glass.
It's not really. I mean,
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
I
trailer.
love Unbreakable, and Split was okay. So to have the Unbreakable characters come back in another movie is really exciting, and I think
Split
he's
characters
being
alright.
called Horde, the Split character, which is a really cool name.
I like the poster. The hand-drawn
really cool
poster
villain.
looks really good. Is
It
Sam
does.
Jackson the villain?
Or
not? I haven't seen either Unbreakable or Split.
He kind of teams up with
The Unbreakable dudes and the Split dude.
yeah.
I like Sam Jackson. Everyone likes
Yeah.
Sam
I
Jackson.
thought.
I think
the Split
Horde
dude
is a
would
really
be
cool
the
name.
villain. That's
Yeah,
what
he is. Yeah,
he is the
they
villain.
team up with Glass. Yeah.
Oh wait,
And then-
so James McAvoy is the villain. Oh, good.
along with Mr. Glass. So they
Wait, what?
There's a line in the trailer where he says
I haven't seen the trailer.
okay, well, he says
I'm a
like
garbage person.
I think this is what they call the villains teaming up or the bad guys teaming up or something.
Oh.
You know, okay, they actually don't give away too much in the trailer, so I'm not really sure what it's about yet. But
What
but
else?
I'm really excited.
Suicide Squad 2.
As
What
a huge
else-
fan of Unbreakable, I'm really
What
excited.
else was at Comic Con this year? The new Clone Wars is coming back.
I don't care.
Have you seen the Doctor Who Series 11 trailer?
No.
That's the thing.
I haven't actually. I don't think.
There was
It doesn't
also
really show much. It's
I'm
it should
surprised.
it should be a teaser trailer.
I'm
but it's
surprised
not.
Marvel
It's just
didn't
a-
do anything. Like there wasn't a Captain Marvel trailer or like at least a title for Avengers 4.
Maybe they're actually saving it until they've got something substantial to show. I wish more people did that. It's
I'm
like
pretty sure they finished filming on Captain Marvel. Oh, well, I mean they got to edit shit. so-
No, I just mean Comic Con is this like
Guys,
we have to show something. DC
it's kind
do
of like
this
the
all the
E3.
time.
It's like E3.
I'm grateful we got to look at Shazam,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
know.
it's not out for another like movie. Not out for another year. Like
Yeah. Yeah. We'll finish up roughly around now. So that's about it. Thank you for listening this long. I envy you. I pity you so much.
thanks for letting me wipe your screens, guys. I love it.
Callum, where can we find you?
You can find me on the Electric Milk Facebook and Instagram.
Callum has a band. This is the time to plug yourself.
And our EP. We might. I don't think we're going to do an EP anymore. We might just release an album. We'll be out before the end of this year.
Listen to their mixtape. Let's go. I'm Ben.
I'm Harry.
I'm Sea Dog Ice in the Slice.
Thank you very much for
God.
listening. We did say in the last episode that this episode was going to be Mission Impossible and Edgar Wright, but it's not. That'll be next episode when Jacob's back. So catch us then in 2 weeks' time from now. Not 1 week, 2 weeks. Bye.
2 weeks. Thank you
Bye.
and bye-bye.
See you later.
My name's Jeff.